Andrea, she's been keeping it classy, being poised, carrying herself with grace. But in the latest episode, we finally saw her crash out. And this crash out was long overdue. Long overdue. We had this messy ass mail challenge where basically people had to write mail, basically a message calling people out. They can either sign their name or they could do things anonymously. And I feel like Olandria really did enjoy this challenge. She was very much up in people's business. And yeah, she was a bit mean. She was a bit mean, I would say. She's trying to come for Huda for kissing Chris, even though they literally coupled up together, forgetting that she literally kissed Sierra's man, her bestie Sierra's man, outside of a challenge. We're talking about, oh, does Huda know what the sisterhood is? Clearly, Huda doesn't, to be fair. But neither do you, by that same metric. Then, when it's her turn to come up, everybody keeps it light. I was expecting somebody to expose her for kissing Nick. Nobody does. I was disappointed. We don't even see Nick. Did we see Nick's one? No, we did. I don't know if we're going to continue it in the next episode. I hope so. Because if it's Nick's time to take the stand, hopefully someone will bring up the kiss with Olandria. But yeah, I don't know if it's been cut short. I don't know if they're just like, there's just too many people. Hopefully it continues. I just feel like there's more mess to come. But her main question was basically from Clark, and Clark basically was like, I don't appreciate you calling me a test. And Olandria was just very short and frank with her. Very, very short. And Clark very much stood her ground to be like, I'm not a test. Me and Taylor have a very good connection. So I just felt like it was a little bit disrespectful calling me a test. Olandria's pretty much like, oh, well, I didn't just call you a test. It's like what I call everyone, like a bombshell. Like, it's not personal. I didn't mean anything by it, even though we know that she did. And it was just a very fake, like, that wasn't my intention. I didn't mean it that way, but sorry. Very fake. From both sides, to be honest, because Clark was like, yeah, I get what you mean. They fucking hate each other. And you know what? What can we expect? They're fighting over the same man. After that, Taylor takes the stand. It isn't just questions from Olandria. It's basically everybody. I guess all the girlies came together to be like, Taylor, what the fuck is going on? Like, how can you now be all about Clark after like 3-4 days? When you were with Olandria for 3-4 weeks and you guys were going so well, like, what's going on? And Taylor's basically like, well, I got this connection and there was just that spark. He's got this kid feeling. And Olandria's making a smirk. She's making remarks basically talking about like, how old are you? Talking about kid feeling, like, grow up. So she's throwing petty comments here and there, and her and Taylor are kind of going back and forth. And finally, she just basically is like, what's good, Taylor? Like, you've been having me on for 3 to 4 weeks. I've given myself to you. I fobbed off Jalen for you. I was so respectful when I was exploring Jalen, and you haven't, had the same consideration for me. You're all up on her, you're kissing her, and you're not even giving me the time of day, even though you said you were going to be exploring us both. You're clearly just exploring Clark, and you clearly just want Clark. But then we're having conversations and you're telling me that you want to kiss me and all this stuff. You wanted to kiss me in the challenge. What's that all about? And to that, I can say, okay, that's a fair point there, because Taylor has been giving Olandria mixed messages that have been feeding into her delusion. But even within the mixed messages, surely you can read between the lines. In my opinion, I feel like he didn't want to be mean, and he, didn't want to stand on business before and be like, look, I'm with Clark, so like, I kind of just want to focus on that. Like, she's my priority right now. Well, like, he didn't really want to say that, but he was just keeping his distance and maybe hoping that she would get a clue. But clearly she didn't. She was just rationalizing the delulu in her head that they were going to get back together. At this point, it gets very heated. Olandria is big mad, and she keeps emphasizing that, she always kept him in mind, and he never did the same. He never returned the favor. And I guess she's kind of saying, like, now I just feel like I've wasted my time. You've wasted my time, and I just feel like a big fat idiot. And like I said, I can understand that and empathize it to some degree because she was in Delulu land. But also look at the behavior. He was hanging out with Clark. He literally dumped you, right? He dumped you, and there was a chance that you could have been dumped off of the island, and he didn't care. He took that chance anyway. So I feel like from this point, from time he hasn't chosen her, and she was at risk of being dumped, and now she's going harder whilst he is spending all his time with another girl, going into the photo booth, uh, you know, taking sexy pictures to entice him after he's showing her no effort. You know, that was a bit crazy, Alondra, I have to say. Like, that was like very, very, very delusional. And I feel like, you know, the actions that he showed these past few days have showed you that he's not interested in you. And even, you know, before the coupling happened, the castle coupling happened, again, he showed you that he wasn't interested in you, but you wanted to be Delulu. Now, at this point, I feel like Taylor, you know, as a human being, should have shown some empathy here. But I guess, you know, this is a different side to Alondra, right? That everybody is seeing. You know, she's been keeping it cute. She's been very demure, right? She's been being very classy. But here she's, you know, she's crashing out. She's bigging it up. She's bigging up her chest. She's trying to humiliate Taylor, right? She's trying to call him out in front of everyone and in front of her girls because she's been hyped up by her clique, right? And I feel like Taylor senses that, and now he feels like his masculinity is being threatened. So he starts to become aggressive as well. And he's basically like, well, you know, you do you. I'm doing me. Like, I didn't ask you to keep me in mind for stuff, right? That was you. That was your choice. I've come in here to do what I want to do, and this is what I want to do. Like, I'm doing it. I'm going to choose what's in my best interest and not what you want, basically. I'm not going to keep you in mind. I'm keeping myself in mind. I'm basically saying, like, if you were keeping me in mind and doing everything keeping me in mind, expecting for automatically me to do the same in return, that's your bad. Ooh. And that's some tea there, because you can't be giving these men too much, right? It's never going to be an even playing field. You can't play fair with men. By design, society is giving them the upper hand. And he's pretty much the case study. You said, despite you keeping me in mind and putting me first, I'm going to put myself first. You get no rewards for your selfishness. Now, I do think a lot of it was probably some aggro and him feeling like he was attacked, yes. But I do feel like he is genuinely annoyed by Alondra. We've seen bits and pieces trickled in there, right? Of him being annoyed by Alondra, like when he basically said, like, nobody likes you, right? When she came back to Casa. We've seen little crumbs that he doesn't really like her, and he's, you know, kind of just wants her out of there, it seems like. Then he delivers the final blow. Another question was basically like, make up your mind already. Who you going to choose, Alondra or Clark? And he says he's picking Clark. Oof. Oof. After all that, he said that he's picking Clark. And you know what? It was a bit of a humiliation ritual. I mean, they were going back and forth. They're both giving it to each other. But I think, I fear Taylor won this round. I fear Taylor ate Alondra up, unfortunately. And it's just like, she shouldn't have been giving all her energy to this guy. She just looks a bit foolish, in my opinion. This is like, for me, it's not the girl boss moment when you stick it to the guy, you know, who did you dirty. Because did he really do her dirty? I feel like their relationship was a non-starter. But I got to hear from you guys. Like, do you feel like they were both wrong in this situation? Do you think one was worse than the other? Let me know.